Welcome to the Rise Above Show with Patricia Jo Grover, where we rise above our challenges and turn believers into achievers. Today, my show guest is Debra Kocis. And let me tell you a little bit about Debra. She is a savvy parenting expert and international speaker and was featured on CBS, Fox, and in other news outlets. She is a certified in two nationally recognized parenting programs, and Debra has served thousands of families for over a decade. She's created the Transform Chaos into the K.I.D formula. Her passion is coaching parents to raise cooperative, respectful, and confident children. Parents experience more peace and fewer power struggles. Debra grew up with four brothers and raised in an insightful daughter. Oh my goodness, Debra, it's so wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, Patty.
Oh, well, it's always great when somebody has a message to share that's going to be helpful for people. So I really want to, this is exciting for me, the segment that I have on the show. This Grammy doesn't knit, she cliches. So I want to know, do you have any words of wisdom or an old phrase or adage that you heard as a child? And I want to know, that, but I want to know if you understood it then and if it affected you through life and if you still use that in what you do today.
Patty, first of all, I love that title, Grammy Doesn't Knit. I just love it. And when you said it, just reminded me of my grandmother who taught me how to knit and crochet and something she said, but I actually prepared something my father said, which
Okay.
I'll also remember forever. I remember him saying to me, you have to work for the rest of your life, so choose something you love. And I thought, yes,
Yes.
and me to be our own person. So it made sense for me to choose a career that I love, not for anyone else. And yes, I do use it today in discussions about parenting or careers. I found so many people who didn't have the encouragement I had to try anything and be anything.
And that reminds me of something that I remember so strongly is if you're doing something that you love, you'll never feel like you're working a day in your life. So those types of things. So Deborah, so you understood that as a child and it's kind of stuck with you. But are there any other ways that somebody might be able to say it so that we can pass that on to children of the future?
Absolutely. And I have used the same phrase in many discussions as it relates. And I do have a lot of passions myself. Yet helping parents create loving, gratifying relationships with their children for a lifetime fills my soul. So I pick something I love and something that fills my soul. And how people can use it today. Well, first, I'm out that you have to work for the rest of your life. Let's have a vacation once in a while. And I
Right.
would add that you can apply it to almost any other situation to that same concept. Choose what you love.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful thing. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Deborah, for playing along with me. I asked the show guests this as they're coming on because it is. It's helping me. It's like a survey type thing. It's helping me to be able to find better ways to work with my own clients because the words that we use with ourselves and the words that people share with us when we're children stick with us and create our belief windows. So it's very important. Wonderful.
Eddie, I totally agree. I've said in many previous presentations and when I work with clients that we have so many influences that make us who we are. As I had many influences, my father was the first positive influence and the most profound. He raised my four brothers and me with a different approach, a different parenting approach than most in his era. He was respectful and had an encouraging manner to his parenting. While I saw some of my peers and other children shut down by their parents and made to feel they weren't good enough. So my passion is to help families have that great relationship, which is why I created the K.I.D.
Oh, Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Oh my goodness, Deborah. Wonderful. So, are you ready to move on to some other questions that I have for you? Because we want our viewers and listeners to get an understanding of how you serve. So, you created Transform Chaos with the K.I.D formula. Can you tell us what the K stands for?
Patty, I'd love to briefly share this KID formula because it has three of the essential foundations that are good for any relationship. And the K is for kickstart respect. Our children remember our actions far more than our words. Everything you do now, and I mean everything, teach our children so many things. Respect or disrespect is just one. Think about this. When I show respect, I teach respect. They're little mirrors. And I'd like to about what respect doesn't look like. Not listening to them. Being demanding or controlling, yelling, shaming, hitting, anything that puts them down or makes them feel bad. Yes, you have to discipline, but by using respectful discipline. And being overly permissive, letting them run the household, without any rules, that doesn't teach them respect either. And Patty, even more subtle yet significant is if you don't have faith in them, diminishing their unique light in some way. I've heard from many adults who felt this way as a child, and they're still working their way through it. I had a client who learned the concept of mutual respect. And I'll shrink the story a bit to fit in our time. Kayla was concerned over her daughter's weight, so she insisted her daughter play basketball. She thought, okay, my daughter needs to lose some weight, and this would be fun while losing those extra pounds. Except it was a huge battle every time. While working with Kayla, I found out that her mother demanded she play basketball, and Kayla hated it. I asked her, can you see how your daughter feels when you demand she play basketball? Kayla reflected with tears, realizing what she had done. Working together, we discussed a win-win solution. Kayla didn't realize this option until I helped bring out her feelings and connect them to her daughters. Kayla now learned to really listen to her daughter, understood her daughter's desires, and learn about herself as well. So now Kayla and any parent can see less rebellion and fewer power struggles with the techniques I teach instead of being a commanding parent. And I knew early on from my dad that as a parent, when I show respect, I earn respect. It doesn't come automatically.
What a beautiful story. And it is so true. It is so true. People automatically, parents may come to a fix like, okay, well, they need to drop a few pounds, then let's get them into an activity. In the first activity, whatever, I don't know why it was basketball or whatever it seemed to be, unless that was just what was coming up next. Who knows? But obviously, we know as adults and coaches who work with people, we can't force anybody to want to do something. They have to want to do it, or it's not gonna work. So for this young person, obviously basketball wasn't what was working for them, and I hope that they found something that did work for them that they had interest in.
Yes, we found out that she loves to swim, and this is what I mean by listening to your children. Even if they're listening by yelling or stamping their feet, find out the reason why. Right. Then come to what I talk about in the next segment is collaboration or cooperation. Find a meeting point, find a win-win solution. We put people on the moon. Let's find a solution.
Exactly. And there's always a situation. There's always a family and parenting situation. If you don't have them, that would be amazing, right? Because we always come up against something as parents. Oh my goodness, Debra. So let me go to the next question. So now, can you tell us what the I in the KID stands for?
Absolutely. It stands for instill cooperation. Any team or family thrives on it. One of my clients, Anna, enjoyed her boys until the dreaded morning routine. Patty, this is so common in many families with any routine. Well, Anna felt frustrated and angry as her kids weren't listening. yelling at them or worse, and then feeling guilty. And this awesome mom knew she needed to learn a better way. We initially started by implementing a simple strategy that resulted in her 5-year-old son saying, "Mommy, you didn't yell at me all day." It just warms my heart. We then continued to work on their relationship, and now they have a thriving relationship where the old scenes don't happen anymore. Something simple yet so powerful. I love that it changes the lives of children and families. And it helps even more when we ask our children to participate in decision-making where possible. It's huge for so many reasons. And parents are now giving their children shared responsibility and ownership of the conflict and the ability to be part of the solution. In other words, they have skin in the game and they're problem solving. You're encouraging open communication. You're empowering your children while teaching family rules and values and giving them a sense of control over their own lives. Think about the events that happen in life when kids feel powerless. It could be divorce, moving to another town or state. And what about all the varieties of school that they had, especially in the past almost 2 years? They had no choice. And all these techniques, you're helping teach responsibility, even negotiation and persuasion, especially if they're teenagers. And Patty, yes, there's more complex examples and issues covered in my programs and coaching. But the best part is you're strengthening family bonds, a much needed foundation for those teenage years. And they're developing excellent qualities they can use now and in the future.
That is so true, Debra. So such great information. I hope the viewers and listeners are taking notes of these things. And it is huge. And we've only got the first 2 letters down. Now let's move on, Debra. So tell us about what the D stands for.
Deliver encouragement. Can anyone here think of a time in your life when you felt diminished or dismissed entirely? As a child or as an adult, you needed support and encouragement. And some parents in the rush of life forget to encourage and catch their time being good. But you might want to write this down. Encouragement leads to higher self-esteem, which leads to confidence and courage. It's so important. In my programs, parents learn there are ways to expand on their children's strengths and find real connections through encouragement. I help the parents distinguish between encouraging and discouraging and how it can lead to success or failure, higher self-esteem or low self-esteem. And Patty, here's the bonus. Studies show that kids with higher self-esteem, well, they act more reasonably and listen.
What about that? That's great, right? Bonus,
yeah.
Bonus.
And no matter if you have a lively child or one with special needs, these techniques are priceless in helping all children gain higher self-esteem. And as you know, children need this as they grow and navigate the world at every stage.
Oh, they must.
Patty, I love that parents are learning to instill these qualities in their children at a young age so that they grow into courageous and confident adults.
And that's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, we want them to go beyond their challenges and succeed and not quit at the first sign of frustration. I mean, we all have frustration. So you teach your kids at this young age through teenage, college, and then they're prepared for adulthood, right?
Right. Oh my goodness. Such great points and the topics that we're covering here. So again, I hope our viewers and listeners are taking some notes. We are going to have to take a quick break for a message from our sponsor, 133 Approved Funding, and then we'll be back. And we're back. If you're just joining us now, today my guest is Debra Kocis, and she's from healthyparenting360.com. And we've had such a nice conversation about her kid formula. So we just covered that in the first half of the show, and it's really interesting. So for us to kind of expand upon what she's doing, I want to know, Debra, how do you help parents during the stressful COVID era that we've been in? And we thought, remember, we thought it was only going to be a few weeks when this whole thing got started, but now we're basically almost 2 years into this now, and we don't really see a definite end in sight, because I know that schools are, not knowing whether they're going to be able to stay open. So how can you help parents through this?
Well, as you know, parenting can be hard enough. And when COVID hit, the whole parenting day changed, right? Setting almost everyone back. Patty, most parents aren't teachers, and they had to be at home teaching, they have to work, provide for the family, and then they have their kids full time. And so, look, parents, you got the best you could during COVID, and I understand that. But some don't know what else is possible. And I can help repair the relationship with your child so that COVID or any huge stressor isn't an impact on their future or future relationship. So I reached out to one of my clients who she and her husband attended my workshops pre-COVID. And I reached out to her after or during COVID. And she said all the skills helped her with homeschooling her 7 children.
7.
7 children. Yes. She and her husband came, which is wonderful. So they're both on the same page. They were adopting a foster child, one with special needs. So in Illinois, you have to go to a parenting class in order to adopt, or when you get divorced. And they were just wonderful. They did the work. They learned so many things, much more than the kid formula. It's a whole comprehensive program. And they said so many things, even with encouragement or giving choices or having family talks, so that you give your children voice. They know that they can come to you with anything, and that it's done productively with compassion and collaboration. So all of these things, besides being organized, that helps when you school at home and work and everything else. But having those foundations of a good relationship really helped. And the way in the classes, just certain techniques and how you say things. And when I'm coaching them, I'm able to take their situation and customize it and provide, within the principles that I teach, customize it for a solution for them. And, you can find so many statistics out there on how COVID has affected children's mental health. So I'm here to help reverse the time or set you and your child up for future success.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing, and I hope people are taking note of that. One question I have from that, Debra, is when you're onboarding or starting to work with families, do you talk separately with the parents and children, or you just do it all as a whole, like, interview process?
I actually coach the parents, and they tell me, they bring stories. But since we're on Zoom so much of the time now, I actually get to meet the kids, which is wonderful. And sometimes the parents will bring their kids to the class. They'll ask, and I said yes, if they're, if they can kind of take care of themselves, or I'll see them after the class. And it's such a joy to see the kids as well as coach the parents, but it is mostly for the parents.
Okay.
But I do get to hear everything. We talk about situations and stories and that sort of thing.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that for our viewers and listeners.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah. So Debra, so as a parent, if I missed your coaching and my kids are older now, they're in middle school or high school or even beyond, what can you do for me?
Well, the kid formula and the other techniques that I teach and coach are great for any relationship. And I even had some parents that had children. One was in high school, college, and the other one was in their mid-20s out of college. And he said that the principles and concepts in the programs helped him with his relationship with all his children at each stage. And so I also coach on communication skills and blocks. That's good for anyone. Learning the cues and clues that are behind those teenage hidden messages and the reasons behind and beyond why a child acts a certain way. It's not a crystal ball, but they learn, okay, what are they really saying when they're acting a certain way? So it's good for any age. In fact, it's good for your spouse, friend, business associates, brother, sister, name it, any of them. But especially when kids are older, I love that you don't have to choose between being a likable parent or holding your children accountable. That's the beauty of all these methods. It's just all these skills help you achieve your desired relationship with your children while teaching the family rules and values. These are skills for a lifetime.
So wonderful. So wonderful. So we've had your website down below this whole time, Debra, but can you tell everybody what that is and where they can find you? And then, do you have any gifts for our viewers and listeners? So go ahead and first with telling them where they can find you.
So you can be at healthyparenting360.com. And yes, Patty, thank you, especially since this is only a snapshot of what is possible. So please grab my complimentary Ditch the Chaos guide at healthyparenting360.com/rise, RISE. And this is a 3-step method to get your children to listen. And it can be used for any relationship. I've even used it with my own parents.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for the gift for our viewers and listeners, Debra. And I'm sure definitely you'll be having people reaching out to you for, in the holidays. What better time to, if people haven't experienced this and you're all together as a group and having conversations, what better time to start talking about this form of communication, right?
Absolutely. And thank you, Patty, for allowing me to share my passion. It really has been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And so for anyone who would like to find out more about me, you can go to patriciajogrover.com. And if you're in the continental US, if you text the word GOAL, GOAL, to 26786, or if you're outside the continental US, if you text the word GOAL to 1-866-926-4020. And if you don't text at all, if you go to https://bit.ly/PJG I'll have stuff come right to your inbox and you'll end up getting a free hour consultation with me. We have a little video on the way out. And, I just want to say, until next time, rise above the challenges that life brings your way. And have a great day. Thanks for being with me, Debra.
Thank you so much.